People are stupid. I know I sound like a cynical douche, mostly because I am a cynical douche. I'm well aware that the average person is dumb as shit. I'm no Einstein myself, but even as someone with slightly above average intelligence, I figured out how to control people into believing what I want them to believe, which I suppose in this case is my downfall. I made a stupid mistake. A big, stupid mistake. I mistook advanced crazy for regular crazy, and now I have to deal with the consequences. A few months ago, I went to a party at my buddy's house. It was relatively casual. BYOB, not a huge deal. I hadn't drank in a while, and a friend of mine brewed his own very potent IPA, which got me buzzed pretty early on. Enter Luna. She was hot, in that crazy girl kind of way. Massive chest, skinny little waist. Not much of an ass, but it was firm and her yoga pants hugged it beautifully. She had soft blonde hair that went down to her waist, and pale, blemish-free skin. She approached me, which is usually a bit of a turnoff. I enjoy the hunt, setting my sights on one particular girl and making her want me. Luna already knew she wanted me. It took away the game. It took away the fun. But I was buzzed and she was cute, so I went with it. I let her ramble on about her interests, feigning interest while mentally undressing her, strategizing my best plan of attack. Eventually, we took an Uber back to my place and had a thoroughly enjoyable time. She was more of a freak than I pegged her for, and I got to do a few things that most girls reject even the idea of. The next morning, I woke up surprisingly not hungover in an empty bed. Pleased that my overnight guest must have snuck out, I stretched, climbed out of bed, and headed to the kitchen on a quest for coffee. It was the moment that I reached the kitchen that I realized the full extent of crazy I was actually dealing with. Luna was in my kitchen, squatting on my kitchen table, staring at my toaster. The springs popped with a soft ding, her eyes opening wide as the toast rose. Hey there, I waved slightly, grabbing her attention. Luna grinned widely before literally hopping off the table. She grabbed a piece of toast and bit it before sticking her finger directly into the raspberry jam and sucking it off her finger. Hey there, she giggled. You sleep a lot. Well, it's the weekend. I don't sleep that much during the week. I shrugged. How long had she been up? I wondered how much of my shit she had gone through. Anyway, I have some plans today. I trailed off, hoping she would take the hint. She did not. After her odd breakfast, Luna skipped to the living room and laid over the back of the couch, feet in the air, hair pooling on the ground, staring at the turned-off television. She really was an odd glass of water, and I was no longer in the mood to take a sip. It was Saturday, and all I wanted to do was kick back and watch garbage TV in my underwear. Sans the manic pixie dream girl doing awkward yoga on the sofa. Like I said, I'm aware that I'm a cynical douche. I rationally know that I should have just asked her to leave, but at that moment I wasn't really thinking rationally. So I employed a plot that had worked so many times before. I had to out-crazy her. Hey Luna, I said, heading into the living room and sitting down next to her head. I have to tell you something. She turned to look at me quizzically. I know this might seem a little weird, but after we shared such a magical night, I felt the need to tell you. I looked at her dead in the eyes. I'm a messenger, sent here by the one true God, Lozo. Luna's eyes grew really wide. She did a quick crunch before pivoting into a sitting position. I figured that would be that. She would leave and I would have the rest of the day to myself. But she did not. Oh? she asked with genuine interest. Yeah, I nodded, deciding that committing was the only way to go. Lozo wants everyone to know who he is, and it's my job to spread his message so that we can all ascend to Blurp and live with Lozo forever. Luna just nodded. When you approached me last night, I knew you were perfect for Lozo's message. I can see in your eyes that you have the heart of a Lozonite. Just like me. I poured it on thick. Would you embark on this mission with me? Absolutely, Luna said reverently, her eyes locked with mine. I spent the next few hours telling her the rules of Lozonism, which I made up on the spot, with the intention of turning her off. Lozonites were expected to only eat during odd hours, never even hours. Blue foods were never allowed. Lozonites needed to bathe at least 3 times daily, and never ever bite their fingernails. They were also not permitted to wear silk or t-shirts with words on them except on Tuesdays. Lastly, Lozonites didn't own anything. Everything belonged to Lozo. Not only did none of this turn Luna away, she became more enraptured with every ridiculous lie I spun. I was at a loss. Eventually, I just started ignoring her and going about my day. We ended up sleeping together again later that night, because she was hot and I was weak. Luna spent the next few weeks at my place. It seemed as though she was always there, even when I was working. After a while, I almost didn't even mind her. One day, when I got home from a stressful day, I found 2 more girls in my house than when I had left. Luna introduced them as Star and Rainbow, names which I assumed were about as real as Lozonism. But I didn't particularly care. They were hot, crazy hot, and they believed me to be a prophet. I knew that the crazy foursome that happened that night was wrong, but somehow I just managed to quiet my conscience. Over the next few weeks, it seemed like every day there were more and more people in my house, but they were all so pleasant and helpful that I kind of started to like it. I even started telling them made-up stories about Lozo and all the things he wished for us. I know it was wrong and a little insane, but I was having fun and sleeping with a different girl every night. Here's where my problem set in, though. I forgot just how crazy these people were. It wasn't long before they started fighting for my attention, competing to prove who was the most devout. I couldn't even get 5 minutes of peace and quiet. The men were always fighting to be my right-hand man, and the women were fighting to share my bed. Soon, there were whispers of a Lozonite who spoke to Lozo. His name was Zin. I think that Star's recruit Dave brought him in. It was hard to keep track. Zin said that he had spoken to Lozo, who started to ask him to get followers to do things for him. One day I came home to find 24 people in my living room humming the same note, which they proceeded to do for hours. They claimed they were trying to tune into Blurp. Another day I found them recording Eminem songs and playing them backwards, singing along, loudly. Zin even started questioning my devotion. I was done, beyond done. I had let this go on for long enough, not putting a stop to it for a myriad of reasons that seemed ridiculous to me now. I called everyone for a meeting. Somehow we had amassed over 50 members. They all gathered in my living room, sitting on the furniture and floor and coffee table. I hated them all. I told everyone that Zin was a false prophet, that Lozo told me that he had never spoken to Zin, and that we needed to reject him. Zin protested, but Luna stood up for me. After all, I was the one true messenger. A din of agreement washed over the crowd. I'll admit that I lost control of what happened then. I don't know how. I guess I knew that I couldn't stop 50-some angry people. They grabbed Zin by the arms and legs and hoisted him above the now standing crowd. They duct taped him to the wall while chanting for Lozo. Bakara, another recruit, grabbed Zin's chin, holding it in place. I looked away as he pulled out Zin's tongue and sliced it off. "For speaking lies about Lozo," he growled, and the crowd chanted his words back. Comet took the knife from Bakara and placed it into Zin's cheek, gliding it underneath his eye and popping it from place, then another. "For refusing to see the truth of Lozo," he sneered, and the crowd chanted his words back. Luna then took the knife from Comet and placed it on Zin's chest, driving it into his heart. "For not allowing Lozo into your heart," she cried, and the crowd chanted her words back. Zin's head dropped, blood dripping from multiple points on his lifeless body. Luna lowered her mouth to the chest wound and drank his blood with relish. Soon others followed, some drinking directly from the source, others bringing various cups to the wounds, getting a taste of his body. I realized at that point, I had lost control of my cult. Eventually, I just went to bed. I'm not sure what the Lozonites did with Zin's body. They probably ate it or some shit. I don't know and I don't care. I know it won't be long before the police come for me. After all, these horrific events happened in my home, by members of my cult. I suppose now the best thing to do is to schedule a group suicide. After all, if I'm going down, I might as well take everyone down with me. People are stupid. And I guess I'm crazy.